Today we're honoured to welcome Kim O'Reilly, a survivor, a fighter and a force for real reform in the fight against domestic violence. In January 2019, Kim survived a brutal assault that left her with life-altering injuries, broken bones, PTSD and scars that may never fully fade. While she recovered in hospital, her abuser was out on bail, playing football for a local club as if nothing had happened. That injustice ignited something unstoppable to Kim.
She turned her pain into purpose, launching the powerful It's Never Okay campaign, calling on sporting clubs across Australia to adopt zero-tolerance policies for violence, ban players facing charges, and lead community education on family violence. Her grassroots efforts have already seen clubs step up, politicians listen, and her story sparked national conversations. Nominated for 2022 Australian of the Year award, Kim continues to advocate for better protections, fairer parole systems, and a world where no one has to live in fear.
Kim's voice is one of raw courage, resilience, and unshakable determination to protect women and children everywhere. So let's dive in, because when survivors speak, change happens. Welcome to the podcast, Kim.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely to have you with us.
It's been a long time coming. It's really good to have you with us today. In Mildura, sunny Mildura.
Yep.
Where you grew up.
Yep. Born and bred.
Born and bred Mildura. Let's, if you don't mind, let's kick off to probably the year that's probably the worst year of your life. So let's go to 2019.
Yep.
And talk a bit about your story and what happened back then.
Yeah, of course. In January 2019, almost 12 months to the day of meeting my ex-partner, I was assaulted to the point where I almost lost my life and caused lifelong injuries, lifelong trauma. Yeah, it was a pretty significant moment in time for me that I don't think I'll ever forget.
You must have just thought this would never happen to me, and here you are going through that.
Yeah, I think you don't realise the depth of what's happening to you at the time. And even at that time then, I didn't really understand the severity of what was happening to me because I was just trying to make sure that he wouldn't get angry at me for, being so hurt. It was kind of like a mental hold that he had on me at the time.
Talk about that. So mental hold, because look, I look at you today and you're such a strong woman and
Thank you.
have always been bright and bubbly.
Yeah.
So for you to feel that way, like that's crazy. Like,
yeah, I look back at it now and I can't believe how much I lived for someone else, just for them to be happy and not, kind of control his mood. I guess it came to that point where I would, almost manipulate what was happening so that he wouldn't get angry and it wouldn't escalate and just bring it back down. So it was just like an everyday walking on eggshells.
how long had you been together before that happened?
12 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were pretty aware by that stage that, because you're trying to de-escalate that so it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. I moved away from a lot of people. I didn't have many other people, a lot of friends I wasn't allowed to be around or family members. And at that point, it was just every day was just trying not to piss him off, I guess, like just trying not to, do something that's going to trigger him because, there was a lot of little things. This wasn't just the one moment in time. A lot of things happened to me in that 12 months. And this was just the last one that he got, the last thing that he got to do to me.
So then tell us a bit more about what happens from there. So you're in Mildura. It happened in Mildura?
Yep.
Yeah. That must have been hard in itself because how do you then, in the town that everyone knows you, I've known you for a long time, known of you for a long time,
Yeah.
that you then need to stand up and tell your story. And
Yeah, I think so. In June 2019, the judge actually compared what he had done to me in comparison to the guy that drove down Burke Street and hit a lot of people in the car.
Yep.
And unless an exceptional circumstance, they cannot hold you on remand unless they think your sentence is going to be longer than the remand hold. And at that point, I had surgery on my eye socket and face to repair it. Had physiotherapy. I was walking with a limp and I had tried to take my own life over it and ended up in hospital for a while. And at that point in that time, that judge basically told me he didn't think that the sentence was going to be longer than the 6 months that he'd been held in remand. And that was almost like crushing for us all over again, because it's like, where's my justice? Like, how is this okay that he almost killed me, and now you're telling me that he's not going to get the consequence for his actions? And then he was out, and within 3 days he played football for Dimboola with his father. And I was still, rehab, learning how to walk properly and just getting my life back on track. And he went out to a roaring crowd. One of the presidents had actually stood down because he didn't want him to play, and another president came in and actually said, yeah, go for it. He can play with his father, great. And it was, there was posts all over social media about it, and that's when it grabbed a lot more attention, is because of how insulting or like almost degrading it was that he was allowed to go out and play football and get back to his life, but I still can't go out into a crowd. I wasn't working, still couldn't drive a car. Like, it was just insult to the injury, I think.
That's atrocious that even happened.
Yeah, it was just, I couldn't, I was a part of a Rimple football club here, and my dad was a part of it my whole life, and it was just, my dad was like, if they did that to you, a club like that you grow up in, it's like, it's just, the culture is just wrong. It's sending the wrong message, and, I wasn't allowed to go play football. I couldn't walk. So it's like, it's just a bit hurtful, and I guess the justice system just let you down over and over again.
Yeah, so out of that comes a lot. So the justice system, what would you change to that? Obviously, the sentences are not long enough. Is that your opinion, or?
I think so. Since It's Never Okay came about, I've been fighting for violent crimes to not have the option of parole or bail. So many women get killed when men are on bail or parole because, it re-angers them.
Yeah.
And a piece of paper doesn't always protect women. Like, the intervention orders doesn't do a lot. It gives some comfort, but it's not going to save your life.
No.
It's probably actually going to make it worse, and they're going to take it because you've got the intervention order. It's a balance between trying to protect yourself and, believe in the system, but also what they're capable of, and it's just a matter of time. So it doesn't really do a lot, but the justice system shouldn't have parole and bail for violent crimes. So you should not be allowed the consolation prize of being able to get out and reoffend and risk the community or risk, your intimate partner.
And then let's talk about sporting cultures as well. So, because that's obviously, there's a lot to answer for there as well, isn't there? So, look, what's your thoughts on that? What do we do better in the sporting system? Because that's actually horrible. And the biggest slap in the face that he runs out and plays footy again and gets celebrated.
It wasn't great. I mean, he broke bail within 5 weeks and got rearrested. So, he had tried to make a connection with me through other people and things. So, I mean, that just shows that you've taken a risk on someone, and now he's been rearrested. And it's almost like you need to believe what he's been accused of, because it's almost like they don't believe what's happening to me. So they've allowed him to go out and play football and high-five him, and then he's been rearrested. It's almost like you need to get back in your box, Dimboola. Handle yourselves a little bit better. Have some respect for what's going on. It's not about that person, because, I got a lot of negativity from Dimboola. It was not received very well.
Really?
No.
What was he like, their number one son?
So he's from
his
there.
father
He grew up
was.
there, yeah.
Yep.
And he was bailed to his father's home, so he had to be there, and that's where he's done his parole and all of that now. So that's where he had to be. But I mean, this was a Wednesday. He got bail, and Saturday he's out playing footy like a rock star. So it's just how can you rally around someone that's almost taken someone's life?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's disgusting.
That must have been gut-wrenching for you to hear.
Yeah.
It was out like that.
It was sent to me so many times, like all of the posts and things, Frecker and son come out to a roaring crowd, and to see his face for the first time in, years, plastered, all around his community, it was just like gut-wrenching. It was almost like going through it all over again. It's just taking that power away from you. Yeah.
Do you still have injuries today from what happened?
Yeah, I've still got a couple. I've still got a pretty bad hip injury. I ignore the pain, but I shouldn't, but it's there all the time. I'm uncomfortable. I'm not as active as I used to be because I just can't be. I don't have much vision in my left eye. It's not very good at all. And I have complex PTSD. I have, a lot of, I guess, mental issues.
Kim, you're so strong. Where do you draw your strength from? Because to be able to do what you're doing today, but have done in the past, and we'll talk about that in a second, where do you find your strength?
Oh, I don't think that I am strong. I think I crumble a lot, and it's I was saying to a friend last night, I'm just so angry that my life got changed 6 years ago, and this is my new normal, because I don't know how to adjust still to this day. But every time something comes up, I have to learn how to not make something trigger me, or how I can make sure that I get up and go to work the next day without being, frightened. Like, it's just, I don't feel very strong. I feel like I'm still very much in the midst of it. But my mum and dad and my sister and brother, really push me. So, yeah.
And what was it like even in Mildura? Was it hard?
Yeah, I mean, Mildura's, sometimes it's hard to get away from, and you just want to come here and be looked at as though you're doing a positive thing, but not all the time it's received like I am. There's comments like I've had, why didn't she get in the kitchen and make him a sandwich? Like, I've had comments like that from around here, and it's just like, it hasn't always been received well, but this is a problem in Victoria.
Yeah.
Is places like Mildura, unfortunately, have an extremely high domestic violence rate. And because we need to change our attitude, like we need to change the way we receive people and how we, choose to judge someone. It's just a small town mentality, I think. Yeah,
it's horrible.
Everywhere you look, I probably get 20, 30 messages within a couple of weeks from, women across Australia that are going through something and just need to tell someone. And it just breaks my heart, that my campaign is still in business. Like, it's not something I want to do, but it's something that I feel like, I wish someone was there in my situation to be able to help me back when I was going through it. So just trying to change it.
Well, let's talk about your campaign. It's Never Okay.
Yep.
How's that going?
Yeah, this year I haven't done a whole lot with it. I've taken a little bit of a step back, had some time to myself to, I guess, heal a little bit. I don't think I've really allowed myself that time. But next year there's a couple of big things that we've got in place, and I'm looking forward to having a new challenge.
Yeah.
We did a bike ride a couple of years ago, and something like that's in the works at the moment, but we'll just see how the old girl gets on. I'm a couple of years older than what I was back then. But I think, there's a lot of, I'm trying to adjust what It's Never Okay is. It was mainly about sports cultures, because that was, what happened in a situation that unloaded and, took a lid off the box and everything started to seep out. But this, it's more about educating and bringing awareness to businesses, associations, organisations around the country. Like, it's really just to educate and to show what damage can be done if this is how you choose to handle someone going through something that you don't want no part of.
Yeah.
It's everybody's responsibility to speak up. And people say, mind your business. Don't mind your business. You need to get in there and help, and this is why, X, Y, and Z. So, yeah, the campaign's doing really well. I've had a wonderful experience over the last couple of years with politicians, sports clubs, people and their parents, or people that are going through situations and they just want to talk about it. But it's really taken a bit of a turn over the last year and a half on what it actually is there for. It's steered away a little bit more from the cultures of the football clubs and more about cultures in your home, really, and cultures in school. How we're teaching our kids in the first intimate relationship they have, what's okay, what's not okay, what's a red flag.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's not
A full-time job.
Yeah.
yeah, it's not easy, but I think to myself, the things that I think about how I was treated in school by partners, if only I knew those things were red flags, then I probably wouldn't have had to accept them later on in life.
Yeah.
Just something that I think young girls or young males, they say, if I feel that way, they just need to say that's happening at home, or I feel that way, and then we can put a stop to it and, get that person help so that they don't end up in jail at 24. So, yeah.
Do you think that's changing these days, the culture within the school?
So I think what's happening is everyone's speaking about it more. I don't think much is changing. I really don't. I don't think a whole lot is changing because we've still got 80 women almost this year that was killed. Last year was 100, over 100. Like, I think we're just talking about it more.
Yeah.
Everyone's just a little bit more aware. We're posting. There's a lot, like when I was campaigning, there wasn't a lot of people that were campaigning for what I was. And now there's campaigns everywhere. Like we just can't get enough campaigns. But we're all fighting for the same thing, which is for our laws to change. So really, we're all asking for the same thing. Every victim goes through the same thing. It is the same story. It is the same assault. It is the same abuse. It is the same way, you can't wear makeup. You can't speak to these people. It's the same story over and over. So I don't know if it's changing so much because our government is not listening to us from the people that have had experience, but we are talking about it more, and that's just, I think that's pretty important too.
Small steps.
Yeah. Just normalising the conversation and not
Yeah.
steering away from it because it's not our business. You can't touch that. You've got to stay silent. I think that's pretty powerful in itself.
So two questions here. So let's talk about someone that's going through it.
Yeah.
What's your advice for them? Because we know, obviously, the numbers that there are plenty going through it right now.
Yeah. Well, it takes 7 times for a woman to leave someone in a violent situation, but
Oh, wow.
before they actually leave. And just there, it's not because the person's going back, it's because of the hold that person has. And it's probably financial, could be kids.
That's a good point, though, Kim, because I think that's the bit that's not discussed enough. What is the definition of it too? Because I think most people probably think that it is as simple as
Just get out of
physical. Yeah. But what are the other? Because it is financial. There's so many different elements to this that are overlooked too, I suppose.
Yeah, I think. Well, for me, he took a lot of my money, but I think people, when the coercive control comes in and it's grooming, and then taking away their power almost because they feel powerless and because they just think you're this amazing person, and you slowly chip at their soul almost, and then there's nothing left of that person. And this is comfort. This is a home. This is the good times outweigh the bad in this person's mind, but it's because they've been conditioned and groomed to think that this is as good as it gets for them, and it's just not. That is not the way you need to live your life. It is just not. You are stronger and powerful, and you deserve fucking better.
Yeah.
So you just do not allow yourself. The first sign of a red flag, get out. Do not stay there. But if you do, that is okay, because I totally know what you're going through. There's no judgment.
Yeah, no judgment. That's a good point, Kim.
Yeah.
Because it must be so hard.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like I even just saying that, I think I'm acting like I just got up and walked out. I didn't. I was physically stopped, and even then, I was still worried about him getting angrier, and I probably would have gone back if the police didn't charge him.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just,
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, because I was so afraid of him being angry at me, because he would threaten me about what I've told the police, and I might think to myself, thank God, my mum and dad got to me at the hospital the second time, and yeah, because I would have ended up back there for sure.
And were your family noticing you withdrawing back then?
Yeah, I didn't really see them much in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
And that's because, he felt people that are more successful in his mind or more powerful, or people that make him feel inferior, he would get very angry about and almost go on a rage about it, and almost talk to himself and kind of ragely talk to himself and really belittle that person that he's talking about. And he used to do that with my family, with my friends, and it got to the point where he really only liked a really good friend of mine and my cousin, and that was really all I had in the last couple of months.
Wow.
Yeah, got pretty lonely.
I bet.
Absolutely. Which is hard to comprehend because
Yeah.
you've always been quite a social person from what I've known with you, Kim. So
Yeah, very
to
much so.
isolate like that.
Yeah.
And then the toll that it took on your family as well. Like,
Yeah, I mean, my sister had to spend her birthday in a Melbourne hospital with me. Like, I just think that even my friends, what they've given up and what they've seen and experienced with just myself, how much it's affected them. You know, some people couldn't write a victim impact statement because it just affected them so much. My mum and dad gave up work. My sister gave up work for about 7-8 months before I could go back. You know, hearing my mum and dad's victim impact statement, it's just like heart-shattering. I can't imagine what it's like to walk into a hospital after a couple of days knowing that she was assaulted, you know, days prior to that.
Yeah.
And she's just come back to the hospital and walking in and seeing my face like that. I just couldn't imagine it. And there's a photo of me with my brother and he's holding my hand and I'm obviously in and out of it. And just seeing my brother holding my hand in that moment just, it makes my heart break. Because I just can't imagine what it's like for my beautiful brother, you know, this beautiful man to come in and see someone you love in that state. Like, it's just, no one should ever have to experience that.
Yeah, look over at Nick. We've both got tears.
Nightmare material. That is.
We've both got tears coming out of our eyes. It's and look, this is the thing. It's time for the good men to stand up.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Because there is some good men out there, and your brother's one of them, and your father's one of them as well.
Yeah.
And we need to not tolerate it because
I think you know, it's not all men. It's not all men, but unfortunately, there is red flags there, and we need to stop at those red flags.
I think you're right, Kim. But it's also it is all men if we don't stand up against the other men.
Yeah, you be a part of the problem, not the solution.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why we're here today, because too often we probably look at these things and put it in the too hard basket rather than sitting here and...
We'll just say that's not our problem, that's theirs.
Yeah. Stay silent rather than say something, I think sometimes is a lot easier for people.
Yes.
Yeah.
The change comes from saying something.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, as I said to you both before, I wasn't really doing much with It's Never Okay, but two guys from Mildura, you know, I think has a really, really big voice, I think has so much impact on the town in itself. And that's the impact that we need. We need that change. And good on you both for wanting to talk about it openly. And it starts within...
No, good on you.
Good on you. I think your courage to come today has just blown us both away.
Yeah.
So anyway, so let's talk a bit more.
Shake it off.
Have a break, Ray.
Let's have a break.
Now, do you feel that after the incident that you got a life sentence and he only got like 4 years in jail?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he only did, you know, 2/3 of his sentence. And I still struggle all the time. My life has changed, not because I want it to, but because someone has forced it upon me to have to change.
Yeah.
And I can't get back to myself. Like, I can't not have anxiety. Like, I just can't get away from it. And I can't feel normal or feel not afraid of people, not afraid of a crowd, not afraid of the unknown. Like, I can't stop that. Like, that is now who I am. And I can't get away from it. And that's because someone did that to me. It's not because I chose to change my life. It's just been changed for me.
Yeah.
It's unfair. I liked my life. You know, I had a pretty good life. I was outgoing, bubbly, which I still am, but it's not as easy as it used to be. I can't just pack up and go somewhere. There's a lot of thought process. There's a lot of shaking. And, you know, my mum telling me, you know, you've got this. You can go out there, go and enjoy yourself. But it's just between being at home, getting ready and getting there, you know, and then something triggers me and I start shaking. My friends, like the other day I was, you know, at the sets and, you know, something triggered me and I was shaking and my friend could clearly see I was trembling and it was just a small thing, but it was just triggering for me. And normally, like, I wouldn't even think twice about what that trigger was. It wouldn't even be a trigger to me. But because of what's happened to me, those things, you know, the smallest thing can just take me back into a moment that I don't want to be in.
Must be so hard to even some days walk out in public because sometimes I don't go to work over it. I mean, it's a lot better now. Sometimes I don't want to leave my home. Like, I just don't want to leave. I don't want to put myself through it. You know, it's like running a race almost all the time, and then you're just exhausted. Like, it's just a lot to put your body through, and mentally, and then try to overcome it all the time. And then, you know, even when you go out the next time, you still go through it. It doesn't get easier. It's just
it's just unfortunately how your body reacts, and the hyper, my heightened hearing and being in a fight or flight all the time.
So Kim, like obviously Nick and I live in Mildura and we're here when it all happened.
Yeah.
What was Mildura's, what was it like? What was the response in Mildura like for you?
I think when it was in the paper, I remember it being in the paper and it was on the front page, I think, and I just recently got out of the hospital. So I think the love was back then, but I wasn't quite mentally aware of what was really happening until getting better and further down the line. And then a lot of people, that supported him, didn't mind messaging me on social media.
Really?
Or,
So what sort of messages would you get?
just like he wouldn't do that, he's such a great person.
Yeah.
Or, what did you do for him for that to happen? And I used to think to myself, I didn't do anything. I was trying to not make it happen. And
I think Kim, this is a point that I probably want
Yeah.
to explore a little, because I feel like there's a lot of things that people, like almost that reasonable reasons why this could happen to you.
Yeah.
Because he's a good guy, or because you've done the wrong thing, or you've had too many drinks, or you've done this or that, or whatever.
You should have left him.
Yeah, you should have left him earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
But I think this is probably your point of it's never okay, is it doesn't matter if you've had too many drinks, if you've got alcohol in your system, if you have not left earlier, if you've got drugs in your system, whatever, it doesn't matter, does it? Like, and that's the bit that I think...
It doesn't. It's just never okay to react and hurt another human being. It's just not okay. And, it was a Wednesday night at that point. He had 6 Carlton Dries, but in his statement, he said he had 15 Carlton drafts. And then he's gone and done, drug and alcohol counselling in jail, right? And that's just... it looks like gold for someone that's in that situation. But even that, blaming it on 15 Carlton drafts, which is just out of this world, just blaming it on that, it's almost like, again, insulting, there's no responsibility, there's no accountability. It's just always someone else's or something else's fault. Like, it's never their fault.
Yeah, I remember the one in Ballarat, there was a case, and I remember someone saying to me, oh yeah, but she was on ice. And that doesn't make a difference.
You can live however you want to live, but you cannot affect someone else. And this is community. Community can either be on your side or completely the other way. There's no in between, there's no grey area. Someone's either believes that you're a victim and understands, no judgments there, they support you, or they have this mentality that's very old school, I guess, very old school, lack of education, but has a very stern opinion. That you should have left. What did you do? He's lovely I've met him a few times. He's lovely. His mum and dad's lovely. But it's like, but you do not know what happens behind closed doors. You do not know a person unless you are behind that closed door.
100% true.
Yeah.
What about social media side? Were you copying much on social media?
Yeah, it's kind of gone in waves, I guess, but I think it's because it depends on what I've done or what I do or what I post. If it's like towards as a broader education or awareness, or somewhere I've gone and spoken at, at a football club or whatever, and posted that it was amazing, an event. Or then if I pinpoint someone or pinpoint an incident, that's when I kind of get teared down. And some people, go that outside of my friends list onto my page and, very comfortably write derogatory comments or privately message me and say very negative things, or, say, nothing about it, why it's women too, and they kind of drill me about that, but I'm not saying it's not men too. What I'm saying is men are outweighing what women are doing to men, and it's a problem. Women are dying and children are being killed, and no one's standing up and stopping it, and that's where it becomes back onto us. And social media is a big problem with that, because you're supporting publicly right or wrong, and there's a lot of people that are still supporting the wrong.
How do you deal with all the negative comments you do get on social media?
Yeah, at the start, not great, but then it was almost like a driving force. Like, you're the reason why this is a problem. This is an issue in our country, in our world, and in it today. So you're the reason why I'm doing it, is to change the way you think towards a victim, towards domestic violence, towards females. Just trying to change that attitude, because that is where it comes from. That is where it stems from. It's like, monkey see, monkey do, right? If it's happening in your home, you grow up to do the same thing. It's repeat of history. And that's where it usually comes from, is people that are a part of that history.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
100%.
you can pick it a mile away.
How do people support you, Kim? Because you know what, you actually said there's a lot of people that are doing what you're doing. I actually don't think there's enough, and what you're doing is incredibly courageous because you're in a country town where you have copped a lot. How do we help you?
Yeah, I mean, on the flip side, there's been so much support. There's, people want change, they do, but there's not enough people saying that they want change. I think speak about it. We need to normalise the conversation. We can't not have the conversation because it's too confronting for you. It's thousands of times more confronting for the victim. But it's up to you guys, it's up to men to change what men are doing. Like, we have to stop the history. We have to stop the cycle. We have to stand up. We can't have, a comment down at the footy club or a comment down at the work site towards women, wolf whistling or whatever it might be. Respect them the same way you respect each other. Like, we are all equal.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no, get in the kitchen and making the sandwich anymore. Make your own sandwich.
Yeah.
Just put that in context. So that was actually a comment that was said to you online, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I mentioned it before. There's that was a comment that, why didn't I get in the kitchen and make him a sandwich? And maybe that wouldn't have happened to me. So, I mean, if it was just simple as making a sandwich, I probably would have done it at the time.
Yeah.
But you're taking away from what happened to me into, something that's just not fair to speak about it like that. Like, I don't think that making light of a situation like that where I nearly got killed is the right way to handle it, and that is a part of the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The thing that we probably haven't talked enough about kids. So it starts with what we do every day, doesn't it? So with our children, and we bring them up, we're both fathers of daughters, and it's the worst thing ever to think that something had happened to them. Yeah. But then I've got a son, and it starts with me. It starts with him.
Absolutely. There's telltale signs, right? Like, when a young boy's pushing a girl at school and, someone says that's because he likes you. That's not because he likes her. That's because that is bad behaviour. And however old that is, whether it's, 6-year-old or whatever it might be, that needs to be pulled up. That is not the right way to show love to someone. That is not the right way to embed into a woman or a young girl that's what love is. Being pushed around or having your hair pulled as a kid because he likes you like that. Comments like that needs to stop. And that's where it starts, is like at that young age.
Yeah.
In your own home. Normalising the conversation. Being upfront and honest about what's right and wrong when it comes to being treated, especially when you talk to your daughters, like, giving them the confidence and the safe space to be able to be open about it. Because it's, I think I steered away from a lot of men in my life because what was happening to me was because of a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're Prime Minister now, Kim. What are you going to do? Because
I'm straight into it.
Yeah, because obviously...
I'd love that job.
And I think you've met the Prime Minister, is that correct?
Yes, I have. In 2022, I believe it was, just before I got my nomination for Australian of the Year.
Yeah.
It was an experience that I'll never forget, and I think that just showed that people in high-powered positions are, are part of our problem here in Australia.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, leave it at that.
Do you want me out?
No, but that's that saying, the fish rots from the head, and I often think about it because where they throw the money is to the people that have gone through it, but are not doing enough to stop it from the start.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Like, we uplift, I've got Wayne Slimman that's worked on my campaign to be president of Wentworth, I think. He was saying, it made so much sense that why aren't we uplifting? And that's now become a part of, what would you say, like a process in certain states, that you uplift the man from the home and move him on instead of, uplifting the kids and the wife, so that they've got some financial stability, so that the kids aren't, being uprooted from their life. And I think that right there is a really big change and a positive change for us. And that's a start where you need to take the man out of the home.
Yeah.
And move him on, so that you know where the wife is, where the kids are, and you know where to protect. Because once that person leaves a home, they get further and further away out into secluded areas, and that's when you never hear from them again.
You're so strong, Kim.
Oh.
I just can't fathom how where you draw your strength. It's amazing.
Speaking of that, is remembering back to your current affair interview with Ali Langdon. That must have been
Oh,
Tough.
Oh, the second, yeah. That was just after he got parole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt pretty helpless in that moment. Like, I just felt again, like, just not important enough. You know, the process of the parole emailing you and asking for you to email back your emotions about how this has affected you so that he doesn't get out on parole, but he's done, all these good things. He's done courses and he's amazing. He's rehabilitated. I think it was just, I even look back at how I spoke on that. Like, I was just so softly spoken. I just felt just so defeated. And, I only had a couple of years to be able to, you go through court and it doesn't stop, right? And then he's out in 2 years after that. And then you got to go through parole. Like, it's just been 6 years of absolute hell and no peace.
Yeah.
And then he gets out of it and he's done his sentence now. Like, it's just constant through the last 6 years, constantly being about him and me adjusting my life. And I just remember how I spoke at that point. I just felt defeated. I just felt really not important in this world. That what happened to me was not important because he's done a course in jail that we're paid for. I mean, let's face it. So he's, and I wanted to do a case management course, and at that time, I couldn't afford it because I hadn't worked for a long time, and he's gone and done courses, and that's given him props. But yet, I'm not mentally or financially capable at that time to be able to go and do something that I want to do to help people. It was Ali Langdon's just absolutely amazing. She's, the emotion that she showed within that interview and how she supported me and made me feel at ease was just amazing. And she actually made me feel important,
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So you touch on a really good point there. So you would suggest that the support for you after it.
Oh, no. So there's a victim register and things like that. And, after that Ali Langdon interview, I actually got a letter from the parole board about to be mindful of how I speak about it. But because there's it is confidential, all this jargon with it. But there is no support. You get an email. And you have to respond on how you feel emotionally through an email on how the last couple of years have been for you and how it's going to feel if he was released into the big wide world. And then you just get a letter back saying that we've granted him parole. That's all you get. There's no counselling, there's no support, there's no face-to-face interview. Just, again, like, it's about the perpetrator always. The victim's always left behind.
That's so lopsided, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's the why. I just felt like I deserved more from the parole board. Like, they're there to support that person. They're not there for you. Like, they're there to decide whether that person's rehabilitated and get out. They're not there for the victim. And again, that's the whole court process, is they are not there. The court process is not there for the victim.
Yeah.
It's there for the perpetrator. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, oh my God, like, through an email, like, how can I wrap it up in an email and you can feel, my tears, my emotion. How can you feel what I've gone through? Like, for my parents, my family, how can I tell you what I'm feeling right now? And I think that interview was probably the best thing because I feel like that showed how I was actually feeling in face-to-face, and Ali did that for me. She gave me that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's basically silence through an email. Like, it's just, yeah.
What other changes need to happen, in your opinion?
I think we definitely need a different type of education in schools.
Yeah.
But also accountability at home. Like, if that's where it starts. If you don't start that at a young age, you are going to miss the opportunity to change it. But I think in the bigger picture, when it comes to laws and things like that, that you have to have mandatory sentencing, and I think heavier sentencing. Like, there's someone that's been, shot and killed and only got 6 years, and my ex-partner got 6 years because he almost killed me. But how do those two things align? It's, there should be a certain category and a certain mandatory sentence that you have to do for each category that you're in. Just because, when someone gets murdered and then you get the same thing. Like, I get survivor's guilt all the time. It's horrible. It's like, how is that family going through that and gets a lesser sentence than what I got with my ex-partner? But then I think my sentence for my ex-partner was warranted. But they are being ripped off or cut off at the knees. They're not getting what the justice they deserve for the victim in that family. And I think, that needs to change.
Have you ever sat down and actually put in points what needs to change?
I feel like I've spoken to every single politician you possibly could in Australia, and not one person has done a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Not one politician has taken... It's for a photo moment, right? happy to have you there, and they're happy to promote it and get a photo and put it on Instagram. But they go away from that meeting from someone that's experienced in it. I'm not just someone that's qualified in at a school. Like, I'm actually experienced in life.
Yeah.
And they go from it, and you never hear from them again. And so I stopped seeing politicians. I was just like, I'm not taking time out of my life to go through mental health to talk to you about what happened to me, for you to let me down. And then I've got to go back to people and say, how'd it go? Never heard from them again. It was all right. They loved it at the moment, but you never hear from them again. Like, I'm talking Ros Spence, Don Farrell. Really, I went to Parliament and spoke to a lot of people. Like, it was terrible. It's terrible. Dan Andrews, I've spoken to Dan Andrews. What a legend. I mean, it's just, I'm absolutely being sarcastic. That's sarcastic. Yeah, that's very sarcastic. I was supposed to have a meeting with him, and he never showed up to another meeting. Like, that's just, don't do that to a victim. Just have some respect. Or don't tell me that you're going to meet with me because they want to see what we can do, because then they take your ideas and then you're never a part of the process. Yeah. It's actually disgusting.
Politicians.
Yeah, they're all the same.
Ali Cupper?
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I take that back. She's actually amazing. She's supported me from day one. She supported my bike ride. She's spoken about my situation in state parliament. Like, she's done amazing, amazing things for women like me and done some magic change. But she is very rare in that politics world. Yeah. There's not a lot of Ali Cuppers.
What a shame.
Yeah, I think our world would be very successful. Our country would be livable. And I think a lot of people, would actually live their lives out and not end it because Ali Cuppers in the world would make it a better place.
So what does the future hold for you?
Next year, things will definitely change. Like, I think for me, I'm just trying to, change the way I view the world and the way I view the campaign, and I view success in the campaign. Like, I think changing my mindset about the whole situation and what I'm trying to do, I think, is what's on the cards for me over the next 12 months, 2 years, because I think I've taken it so personally and, really has affected me when things don't go through, when things aren't successful, when I see court cases that someone got a $10,000 fine, for stomping on a girl's head. Like, that to me is me failing, and I think rejigging the whole outlook of it's never okay and what I want to do with life and proceed forward, I think is definitely on the cards. I just need to rewire everything at the moment. Yeah. This year's been a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. So don't look too far ahead, that's for sure. Day by day.
Day by day.
Yeah.
Well, Kim, you're an inspiration.
Oh God. I wouldn't say that so much.
Absolutely. The strength that you've shown to come in and chat with us. We're so lucky to have you here today. And I just am so... We've both not just had tears coming out of our eyes most of the time, because I don't think I've actually sat here enough and thought about what you've been through, and what you've done today is incredible, and I hope we can help.
If there's anything we can do, we're here.
Thank you for being a part of the change. I mean, it's not easy to back a subject like this up and an issue, and it's pretty powerful when men do. So,
well, the world needs more people like you that are strong enough to stand up and do what you're doing. And
it takes a village.
Yeah, it takes a village.
That's right. Yeah.
You've been incredible. So thank you for your time today, and thank you for coming to see us, because I know it's never easy for you, but
thank you.
We appreciate you so much.
2026, look out.
Bring it on.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks,
Kim.
Kim, we did forget to touch on a subject before of your, would you call it advocacy in the court system with victims?
Yeah. So I help or just support by being on video link or whatever it might be for women that are going through the process in court, just to be able to help them decipher, I guess, between, the legal jargon, I guess, that is not for everyday people to be able to understand, and just relay the message kind of thing and talk about what the process is next. And just for them to be able to talk to someone that knows what it feels like. I think that's a real commonality. Like, we all have something that we've been through, like we're a part of this abnormal club, and only each other can really understand what it's like and what it feels like. So So yeah.
This is not a payroll. This is something you just do to help people.
Yeah, it's all just I just do it. Yeah, it's all just because I want to change something. Yeah.
So is this an opportunity? Like, is this a space where there needs to be more support in that sense? Like, is this an opportunity for the government? People that are listening, where they go, where do we help? I mean, there's obviously a gap right there, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, there's services that support you, but again, it's people that have experience by being qualified to do that job. It's not life experience, and I think that's why people come to me, is because we have a life experience that only we can understand with each other. We can only understand what it feels like to go to court and face that perpetrator, and I think that is something that bonds me and the victim that's going through it, and the reason why I rely on them and they rely on me. And I think that's the gap, is that we don't have enough people with life experience to be there to have an understanding instead of just a textbook response.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Must be so hard for you though too, in a sense, because you're reliving what you went through.
Yeah, I think some of the things that these women have gone through is just unlike any horror movie. It's out of this world, and some of it you just cannot even comprehend, no matter how many times you hear it when you go to court. But it happens, and it's vicious and it's violent, and it's it's traumatized someone forever, to the point that when they go through that process, if they don't have family and friends there, they're more than likely to go back. Because it gets to the part where it's just too confronting for them, and it's dangerous. It's actually putting the victim in a pretty dangerous situation where you're more than likely going to elevate the anger in that person towards them. Yeah.
Far out. That's got to be triggering for you, though, does it, at times?
Yeah, sometimes it's, I think, hard to turn off. It's hard to stop thinking about it, or hard to not relate it back to your own situation.
Yeah.
And, some things that come out in those courts actually, make me realise that, that's happened to me too. And, in that time, I haven't realised that's not okay as well, what happened. And I think, wow, we have so much in common, because every woman's story is almost exactly the same. It's just copy and paste. It's just the way it starts, what the commonality, it's just all intertwined with each other. Like we're all got the same story. Yeah.
Is there still things that you think about now that you didn't kind of pick up on at the time, but you hear them from other?
Yeah, definitely. I think over the last 12 months, a lot of things are coming to the surface for me, where now I look back and think, oh my God, like that, that's not normal what he did that night, or, that triggers me. And I think to myself, oh my God, that, what he did to me in that moment, like that's inhumane, like that's not okay. And now, that this is why, I don't like being by myself, or it triggers things, and I relate it back to how I respond to things now is because of what happened in that moment. It wasn't just that one night, that's been going on for months. It just got to the point where it was, my life, or leaving, I guess. So, yeah.
Well, Nick, the most chilling podcast I've ever done, and we're going to leave some details to make sure that anyone that's affected knows where to get support. But
yeah, that was really, really powerful.
Yeah, we just need to take the time to say to all our friends, to all our listeners, and we've got a great crew that hit us up every week. It's time that we lead this fight and help make change, because what's happened to Kim and every other woman that's been through it just can't happen anymore.
Yeah, and silence isn't the answer. You need to stand up and say something. Yeah. If you need support and you're in Australia, call 1-800-RESPECT. That's 1-800-737-732, or visit their website. You're never alone.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you.
Oh my God. We've got from laughter to
Thanks,
tears
Kim.
every time. Oh, it breaks my heart. Honestly,